beautiful dancer, and welcome for our weekly appointment with a cup of tea, which is our conversation about soulful and creative fusion belly dance. I'm Lamia Barbi, your host, and today I am so excited to share with you a lovely conversation with Dipika Vijay. Dipika is a belly dancer and belly dance instructor and academically trained designer from Mumbai in India, and her dance company is called Badass Belly Dance. So Deepika will share with us her journey in dance, how dance started in her life, how she came into belly dance and specifically fusion belly dance. And she will also share with us what does she mean with badass for her. And I think this will be very valuable for all of us from the community. And we will also talk about the let's say the relationship that dancers can have with social media and her own approach to movement and dance creation and her very specific and personal touch to it. So I think you will find lots of inspiration and value from this super beautiful interview. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Deepika, for being here today and to join this conversation.
Thank you for having me, Lamia. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Just before I was pressing the record button on, we were talking about how beautiful it is to create a space for us to share inspirations and ideas because we dance so much and we appreciate also everyone dances. I mean, I've never met you in person.
No, we
My
haven't. We
brain,
haven't.
it's my brain working properly, right? But I feel like I know you because I've been connecting with you for so many years through social media and through social apps. And I see your dance, but I would love to know more about you. So I think this is a beautiful space for all the community to know more about you and your vision about fusion. It's such a nice, I think it's going to be a super nice conversation.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited to be here. Like we spoke about just before, we began. There are very few spaces where dancers get to speak. We just speak through our bodies, so we don't know what beautiful things are going on inside a dancer's mind, the ideas, the inspirations. So thank you for creating this opportunity and platform. I'm very thrilled for our conversation today.
Yes. So thank you again. And I always start from the start. So my first question is usually the same, and it's how do you start your journey in dance? How dance met you, or you met dance in your life? How this happened, and specifically, of course, about belly dance.
I think, like most dancers in our field, I've been dancing since I was a little girl. I am a Punjabi. That's my background. That's the culture I'm part of. So Bhangra has been a part of, growing up, weddings, all the weddings in the family. That's the folk style that I've been doing since childhood. I was born in the state of Gujarat. So Garba is a huge Navratri, the Gujarati dance. It's a spiritual dance. It's for 9 nights. And I've been doing that since I was a little girl. And I still try and go every year. So that's in my body. And for a very little while, just about 3 years, I have done Bharatnatyam when I was little. So that love for the classical dance is in my heart, even though I could not finish all the way through. But this is my background, just dancing, growing. And then when I grew up, I took a free class and I got hooked onto belly dance so hard, I cannot tell you. I mean, of course, you can see it's been like 16, 17 years now. So, yes, it was very hard. So, that's how it began with a free class. And that's the love story.
Yeah, it usually happens that you find something like belly dance, you're like, okay, obsession mode on, right?
100%, 100%. And I think the dance forms that I had grown up with were all outside of the body movements, external, and how belly dance moves you inside, not just in the heart and soul, but also it's a very internal form of dance. How you connect within your body, how you get comfortable with it, and how very slowly, unknowingly, you fall in love with yourself in a very different way, in a very intimate way. So that is the beauty. That's how it started.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And when I experiment with Indian fusion, what I really like is I also, of course, probably already know from Bharatanatyam
Of
background,
course.
yeah, in a very different way than you, but Bharatanatyam came to my life too. And Bharatanatyam, it's very much about the limbs and the external space of the body, the kinosphere, while belly dance, it's the opposite mainly, like really inside. And I really love this specific feature of belly dance. But
Yes.
moving on to fusion belly dance, how did you make fusion belly dance? And if you would pick like one or more key features, like for you, that are very characteristic of and that define this dance style.
I started with Rakshaki, and I think my search went on. Like, I knew that there was something more that I wanted, but I hadn't experienced it, tasted it, or tried it. So my search just went on. And then after about a couple of years of Rakshaki, I found the fusion style. And oh my God, the depth of it, the intensity of it. The best part as a new person into this dance form was that there were no rules. There was so much creative freedom that it wasn't that only if you do this language, this attire, this vocabulary, then you are doing this. There was so much space. Once you learned the basics, you could create your own language, your own stylization. You need not follow a particular set of rules. And I loved that there was freedom, so much freedom, scope for growth. And then I have a very creative background, so I could exercise my entire brain. I could do so much more with what I had. It's
Yeah.
creativity is all about doing the bestest with whatever you have. So I was happy, growing with that in that direction. And I love the intensity, the spirit, the power, and the impact that came with fusion belly dance that I was missing before. I think that is what completed me. It gave me so much power within my own body and expression, power of expression, of course. So it just hit home, just right home. So I knew I was there. That's where I think.
Yeah, that's lovely because I hold this interview with Indian dancer like you, which is Nivita from Bangalore, and she mentioned the idea of the power of this dance style. I think this
Yes.
is something very on point. Like when we do fusion belly dance, the posture is like boom, something happens
Yes.
within, and then you feel
Yes.
it in your soul, right? Something is happening
Right.
within as well.
Right. I think the contradiction of it being extremely feminine and yet fierce. These are the things that I think these are the two bases of a woman. Like, you can be gentle and soft and fluid and feminine, and there's this fierce, very Kali side. So I love that juxtaposition, that contrast. And between this, there's so much range. So, according to your mood, to the seasons, to the phase of growth that you're in, as a woman, we go through so many seasons within a day, month, week. So, how all that can be incorporated, within the art that we love. I I just
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the main inspiration behind your badass belly dance uh,
Yes.
brand, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, I wanted it to be unapologetic. Women are always constantly, oh, I'm sorry, oh no. We're always shrinking back due to so many reasons and zones of our life, in so many zones. And this is one space where I found myself and where I found freedom. And I wanted to create that space for all my students, for all the community that came to me, that you can be as badass as you want, as unlimited as you want. You decide where you want to go. So
Yeah, that's so true. To to share this place where you're allowed to take space. You
Yes,
are allowed to really express all these shades of you that can be the demure and graceful and sensuous and the fierce and fighter and unapologetic, as you said, right?
yes, yes, all of it. Everything is welcome.
Yeah, I love this about fusion as well, that it has all these palette, this huge palette, right? This variety of
Yes,
colors that you can really play with, and the
agree.
personal expression that comes from it. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. So, next question, I'm gonna dig deeper, I think, in your background because maybe you're going to share a little bit of your background in art, in a different kind of arts. Because I want to ask you, where do you find your inspiration mainly? Which one is your source, or are your sources, if you have variety of them? When you want to create a solo, a performance, you want to choose a piece of music for an improvisation or for your costumes?
It's a very, very large question.
I
I
know.
think so. The question is huge, but I will try and choose and pick an answer and to my best. I think because we're such creative people, there's inspiration all around. It's the matter of noticing what stands out to you, what is currently exciting you. And sometimes when we're in the creative growth, there are certain aspects that you are searching consciously, and then there are certain things that you didn't know that you needed, and they just fall onto your way. So I'm a big believer of things coming across serendipity, that
Hmm.
when it is in your life, when it is needed, it will just appear out of nowhere, and you just get drawn to it, you just know. So inspiration, I think, is omnipresent everywhere. Sometimes the dance comes from the feel, like if I'm feeling inspired by softness in the movement in the dance, so it'll be fluid, it'll be soft. Sometimes I'm upset at the whole world, and it's feeling driven. Sometimes it's feeling driven, sometimes it's I've learned something new in movement, a new style of dance with a little bit of vocabulary that would inspire me. And a lot of times it's also music. I'm not very personally fond of as dancers, we are constantly dependent on music for our creativity. So I like to create very, very independent of music a lot of times. So a lot of times I create and then hunt for music. And that is so difficult. I cannot tell you how much difficult, that whole journey, that process is. And then a
Yeah.
lot of times I feel that we have to latch onto the music and then create within somebody else's creativity. And that
Mm.
bothers me a little bit as a creative person. Hopefully
Mm.
someday I'll make music and dance on it myself. Till I don't do, I look for exciting music constantly, and whatever hits the soul, I pick that. So it can be feeling driven, it can be visually inspiring, element driven, it can be new vocabulary driven, or it can be the music. Music leads you into whatever you're creating. So inspiration is omnipresent; it can come to you from anywhere. And about costume and accessories, costume I'm constantly struggling with, because to create something that's in your mind, in your vision, and then get it produced, it's a little hard. Like, I don't create costumes in India. We have a lot of good designers and a lot of people who do all this for you. Like, I don't know whether it's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm pretty inefficient at sewing, so I don't make my own costumes. I don't think
Well,
I have that skill.
that's amazing. I mean, everyone has its own space for everything, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes. Thankfully, I think because of this, I'm born in India. I don't like cooking. I don't like sewing. So there are some very, very skilled and helpful people who, who save my life in that way. So I'm constantly on the lookout for good designers, people who can bring my vision into life. I can sketch and I can give them things. I will go and get fabric and tell them, okay, I want it this way. This is the idea. So I have to always co-create in terms of costume, about the possibility, about the available fabric, material of the nature, all that. That's how it is in costume always. But I try very hard not to fixate on the music first and create on it. I try to create a language, a structure, like a skeleton, like a mood, and then add it to music. I always do that. I don't know how good an approach that is, but it's worked for me. So
Yeah, everyone's such a different approach. You know, there are
yes,
some of us are so music driven and need that as a foundation for movement, while
yes,
someone else like you maybe want to start from the movement and then search for the music. And
yes,
definitely, it's
yes.
such a more
Wide,
intricate process,
yes,
right?
wide variety of approaches towards art. So like any other art, we can be starting from, say, a costume. We could be starting from a costume. We could have seen a headgear. Indian mythology, there's so many beautiful shows on Indian television and the OTT platform. So I could see a headgear and think, oh my god, I want to wear that and dance. I will make a dance specifically for that. So that is a
Yeah,
beautiful approach. You get inspired by a piece of jewelry or a headdress, and you create based on that. It's almost
yeah.
like dressing up every day. I feel like wearing big glasses, so I'm going to wear something to go with that. Or I feel like tying my hair this way, I'm going to dress cute according to the hair. So it's the same thing. It's wherever
Yeah.
the love or the mood or the inspiration takes you.
Yeah, yeah, I love this. I don't know how to say that in English. Paragone, we say in Italian. Like you are saying, like dressing. You want to put the
Oh, the
glasses
parallels,
on.
drawing parallels.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so lovely. And what I
Thank you.
see in your dance, it's a lot of really care for details. Like so so there is this intricacy and very minimal also way of creating like they're so delightful because they're so the I don't know how to say that in English. I'm sorry, my vocabulary today is not that good.
No,
But
please, no, please carry on.
they're so like precise and precious. I can see like tin 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 and it I like it so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Coming from a beautiful dancer who's got a classical Indian background also, and I could see the same. When you learn classical Indian dance, there is love, nurture, and detail that goes into every single movement, from wrist to finger placement to one eyebrow lift. There's so much detail that is carefully measured, expressed, and practiced for years. So I don't know whether it comes because I learned Bharatanatyam for very little time. It could also be from my design background that I love details. I I'm not sure I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, but that quote, God is in the details. The universe juice is in the details. Absolutely, the whole world is in the details. So I love creating intricacy, layers, and complexity within the art. I love simple, but my body uh, gets bored of simple very soon. I think I tend to lose focus even when I'm drilling things with my team, with my classes, with my students. After a certain number of repetitions, my brain starts changing things, and it's not because I've forgotten, because I am over it. I want to add more thrill to it. So I think that comes very naturally in my dance. Um, Even without me trying to complicate things, my dance comes across as a very layered. It can be very intimidating, but I'm very thankful that a very experienced dancer like yourself has noticed these details. So I'm hoping others can see it too. And this is what sets my soul on fire. Smaller, tiny details. It can be a plain wall full of color, but then you'll see one little nail inside of a different color. It can be a complete green wall with one red nail, and then it can be one tiny texture, one dot added somewhere. And these are the exciting things that keep the wall alive. And same as art, any form of art, in movement also. As hard as I try, I've worked. I've really tried to convince myself to fall in with the trends on the social media, make simple tutorials, do things. But I think I'm incapable of doing that. I
Mm.
feel like I really have to really water down my creations and art to do things like, one move here, one move there. No offense to anyone. There's beauty in simplicity, huge amounts. And to clear, like precision of a movement, to clarify it, to bring it to a certain quality takes years. And we both know that. But I think my journey is a little different. It's not above or beyond, or it's a little different. I like the layers, secret. It's like secret codes, secret language going on. Within a circle, you'll see a couple of different things, and it's just exciting for me, and I hope it's exciting for other creative people as well. So that is
Yeah.
my jam. Those who see it, I'm like, oh my god, you've got a beautiful brain.
Yeah. I see you're on fire. You're like glowing.
Thank you. So are you.
Yeah, I think that you, as a creative person, you have that fire within you. So everyone, I think again, we're all so different, and there is space for everyone, and everyone has its
Absolutely.
own way of expressing, its own way of
True.
operating, also
True.
within the same style, within the same dance form. So I think your creative fire really needs to, you have that urge to keep creating and keep shape shifting. You're like trying
Yes.
always to shape shift, like a snake. You always
Yeah.
need to change something, to maybe change a
Yes.
vision. You want to, okay, I'm looking at this cup of tea, maybe I want to look it like this, like this, like this, and it's always the
Yeah.
same,
Yes.
but it's different, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
can
Yes.
say you
True.
this is the figure eight up to down, and it's called Maya, right? But then you're gonna look from here, and what is that now?
It's something else. Totally
Yeah,
something
right.
else.
And then
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a flower on it, and then it's different again.
Oh, gorgeous. You also mentioned something very, very bang on for me. That was a minimalist movement.
Yeah.
So that is something that I had been trying for years. Um, I do not. When I was little, I learned bhangra. I grew up with bhangra and then garba, the louder, the bigger dance forms from India. And my very first belly dance teacher told me when I did hip drops and shimmies and everything. So she said, "You can light up the entire city of Mumbai with your energy. Can you try and bring it down?" I was like, nobody's ever told me that. So I think from there began my journey. Loud beat bhangra to very, very soft body waves. That has taken my entire journey to. Um, I'm going to paraphrase a quote from a movie. It said, "Just with true power comes true responsibility." And and I think that just because you have power, you need not throw it around and show it around. Use
Mm,
it in the correct spots, in the correct places. So to be able to show power through precision, to be able to show power through a different texture, and not the entire song, not the entire combo, not the entire phrase, not 32 counts. Maybe you can just do it for a little bit, half a count, maybe. Can you do that? Maybe
mm,
one fourth, like a quarter note here, a quarter note there. And I think that is where my challenge lies. So I have worked very hard to make my dance look effortless,
mm,
absolutely effortless. And I think because of the direction that the world is headed in the social media, the internet, and everything has to be so loud and big and attention stopping, and the music and the costume and the drama on screen. And my work has been the opposite of it, like bringing it inside. So I sometimes struggle with it. A lot of
mm.
times, things that I think are so exciting, and I put something of that sort on the socials, and there's just no sound, nothing comes back.
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't even know if it's visible, if it's, if people see it. So I don't know if I should, like, I'm still finding ways like everyone else. I'm still finding my roots. It's not the end of the journey. So I have worked very hard to make the language minimal from my background, from my, childhood perspective. And it's taken many years to become effortless. But maybe now I think certain points of effort uh, to be moving forward as per the world's direction. Maybe that's required. Maybe. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, this is such a huge topic. Okay, social media and art. Boom, 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 boom. But I think that I would say your artistic, minimalistic vision can apply, like the preciousness of minimal can apply to your social extent. It can extend to your social as well,
True.
you know? I
True.
think you don't need thousands of billions. That would be okay, great, maybe, but maybe you need those people that can appreciate what you do, because
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
you have billions of views in one thing you put on the social media, and then it's just billions of empty views. It's just
Correct. Correct.
people watching something, while it's so more
True.
precious and so more important to have people that can appreciate what you're putting
Yes.
up,
Who can
right?
see what you're like. I really appreciated. I got so happy when you said, minimalist, and you have that fire inside. And when you could pinpoint a couple of things from my art, I think it made me so happy. This one important comment from a dancer who's experienced, who can see things, adds so much value than 100 comments that would just say like heart, 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 and fire, 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 and yes, queen, and like like the things that don't mean anything, are not actually feedback, are not actually representing or saying anything. They're just lot of words but not saying anything.
Yeah, so
So
loud. It's just a
yes,
lot of noise. But
I would say so too as well.
yeah, it's better to have maybe a couple or maybe one person that comments, and that you see that it arrived, like your vision arrived,
Mm,
and you have that connection, because
yeah.
it
Yes, I think
actually,
connection is the point.
yeah, I think we all fell into the web of social media because we were basically looking
Yes.
for
Nobody
connection, right?
trained us for this. Nobody trains artists for this kind of explosion in their faces that, you don't just have to be artists. You have to be like the whole media curator. You have to curate an image. You have to sell yourself in a certain way. You have to, portray this to get students. You have to invite them and entice them. And sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes uh, I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. So
Yeah. Well, if that can spark a little something within you, I am the opposite. When I scroll, and sometimes, like everyone, I scroll the social media, I usually just scroll immediately. If something is too much, like boom, 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 I'm like, ugh. But then if something like your video, okay, Dipika, boom, and then there is like this space, your body, which is very, and then minimal, I'm like, huh. And I just stop for that. So
thank you.
like my way to experience social media is actually
Mhm.
looking for something more like you, but maybe it's
Thank you.
me. And
I also try and quiet the noise. I actually look at social media on mute, on silent.
me
Anything that
too.
can stop me, without l- attaching themselves to the music, any kind of movement, I think I really want to see it. So most of the videos that I see on mute. And then if I like something, I put on the volume. I try and be very, very articulate with my words, even when I'm commenting. I actually try and tell the artist what is it exactly that I loved. I
Mm,
it's not that I want to compliment them. I want them to know what is visible to another creative mind. I think
mm.
that can uh, really put a lot of water into somebody's flowers. It can really lift you up and can really set you in right directions. If that was your earlier intention, or it could just put you on a different path. And I think that's very cool. I would expect that from my socials, some intelligent comments, some heartfelt, like you said, connection. So
Yeah.
how you make connection with your art and how people see it. If somebody has the articulation to put it down, it can be so good. It doesn't just work like a feedback. It can be very critical for an artist's soul. So
Yeah, that was so beautiful. Like to be intentional with your comments, with your views. To again, don't it's not just an empty view. It's something that creates that connection within people. Like this is, I probably this is the like the key for everyone on social media to feel
yeah.
that again. Yeah, yeah. And I would love to wrap our conversation with one last question, which again
Yes,
is a
yes.
question that I love to ask all of my guests. If you would have like a vision of the future, like what do you see ahead for the community and for this dance style, fusion belly dance style, how we call it nowadays? Um, and if you have any suggestion or tip for the dancers and the teachers.
For dancers and teachers, I think for everyone, I would say keep learning, keep growing. Not because there's no end to learning, because the more you learn, the more you will be able to express. So what you consume will help you in creating. If you are full of inspiration, full of fire and sparks and glitter and orgasms, then you will be able to push this world in the right direction, in touching hearts and doing things. So don't stop training. Learn it the authentic way. um, I don't know, there's no authentic way. Just find your flavor. Do 10,000 things and you'll find your flavor eventually. I think one thing that I would like to share is, for teachers, I learned it in a very, very um, like long time, that um, being kind, not just to yourselves, but also to your students. I think that's very important. Whatever a teacher says becomes the theme for the students' journey. So be
Mm,
very careful with your words, with your kindness, with your sensitivity, how you put forward a critique, how you teach, your expressions, whatever you do, you're making or breaking somebody's love for that art. So
yeah.
a little kindness towards the students uh, would would be amazing. We'll bring out so many beautiful dancers who probably were not planning to stay and just doing it like a hobby class. So the future is learn more so that you can have this growing in different directions. Maybe Japanese dancers will add Japanese art to it, maybe, like Indian dancers are we are putting Indian folk and classical into it, and Indian flavor. It's all over with the bindis and cholis and bangles and hina. So different countries and their flavors, because they will add that. I think that would be incredible. That would be in the true sense fusion. So
Mm,
that would be beautiful. That would be, if you're from a country, that country's fusion. If I'm from India, it will become Indianized fusion. So that would be beautiful. And kindness all the way, because we are artists, because we want more people to learn dance and, this art form to flourish. Um, Wherever there's art, wherever there's culture, um, there'll be no wars. Wherever people have culture, there's education of the heart. So
mm.
if you can express, you will not be complaining, you will not be upset, hopefully eventually. So yes,
Yeah,
more art, more learning, more art. That's
yeah,
it.
and more kindness. That's so,
Yes,
yeah, I think this is crucial. This is so important. As you said, not only for the students, but also with ourselves first, right?
yes.
Because we are our own worst critique.
This is not a cliche, it's a reality for so many dancers. We are the hardest on ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we have a little bit of time in the entire day and we are unable to break the whole world, we feel so upset.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So, um, learning, kindness, and art. These
Yes,
are the
yes,
three
that's the
pillars.
answer to humanity. That's the answer to flourishing and no wars and world peace and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I think these are like the three pillars of a brighter future, not only in the
Yes,
art form, but for everyone.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Deepika. That was a lovely
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you, Lamia. It's a pleasure. It was really, really pleasurable. It didn't feel like, we were meeting for the first time and talking. So
Yeah,
thank you. I was very
yeah.
comfortable and you gave me so much space for just
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for this
you.
platform.
Yeah,
Thank
and I
you.
hope I can meet you soon in the real life.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. That'd be amazing.
Thank you, beautiful dancer, for watching this video and had this cup of tea or coffee with us. And I will see you next week. If you loved this video and would love to see more, I invite you to subscribe to my channel because every week I share with you tutorials, videos, inspirations, and interviews about soulful and creative fusion body dance. So subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next week.